The night sky over Odanle carried a strange stillness, the kind of silence that feels borrowed from the world of spirits. Torches burned low, drums that once shook the earth sat untouched. The kingdom waited with trembling hearts, for tonight a new king was meant to rise. Prince Aderoju, first son of King Adagan, beloved by every soul in Odanle, stood inside the sacred coronation chamber. The ancestral crown, a golden circlet forged hundreds of years ago, glowed on a pedestal before him. Its surface shimmered like sunlight trapped in metal. Its jewels pulsed faintly, almost like a heartbeat. Tonight, the ancestors would choose their next ruler. But the ancestors were not the only ones watching. Outside the chamber, hiding in the shadows, Aderoju's younger brother, Adagan, clenched his fists until his knuckles turned white. Adagan, the son ignored, the one overlooked, the one who grew under his brother's shadow. All his life he believed he deserved the throne, and tonight he had decided that nothing, not tradition, not destiny, not even the gods, would deny him. As the drums prepared to announce Aderoju's ascension, a scream split the night. Aderoju's. By the time the guards broke down the door, the prince, the rightful heir, lay lifeless on the cold stone floor. His skin pale, his eyes open and glassy. No wound, no poison, no explanation. Aderoju's crown had fallen beside him untouched, as though even in death it refused to grace a false moment. Chaos filled the compound, and in that chaos, Adagan lifted the crown. Whispers rose around him, but whispers could not stop a man consumed by his own ambition. "The kingdom needs a leader," he said. "The ancestors have made their choice." He placed the crown upon his head, and at that exact moment, a cold wind swept through the chamber. Every torch died, and the heavens rumbled like an ancient beast awakening from centuries of sleep. The crown of Odanle had been touched by unworthy hands, and it had awakened. The next morning, Adagan presented himself before the elders, the crown gleaming on his head. But something was wrong. The moment he spoke his first lie, "My brother was weak, his death was the will of the gods," the crown tightened around his skull. He winced. Nobody noticed, but the ancestors did. The metal pulsed. A glow passed through the jewels. A shimmer crawled across his face. The lie etched itself into his flesh. A shadow formed beneath his eyes, a small distortion of his cheekbone, almost invisible, but not for long. Odanle awoke that day under a sky strangely dim, as though the sun itself refused to bless the new reign. Children cried for no reason. Animals refused to leave their shelters. The palace well tasted of rust. Something was breaking, and no one could see it but the spirits watching from beyond the veil. Adagan believed power could silence consequence, but the ancestors had patience older than stone. Every lie he spoke, every betrayal he committed, every vow he broke, reshaped him. After a week, his reflection no longer matched the man who once envied his brother. His skin sank deeper, his eyes hollowed, his voice grew darker, echoing faintly, as though someone or something whispered with him. At night he heard footsteps behind him. When he turned, nothing was there. At dawn, he awoke with dirt beneath his fingernails, though he had never left the palace. And always he felt someone watching, someone familiar. Odanle's skies turned gray, the crops refused to grow.
Women miscarried, children screamed in their sleep. Whispers spread across the kingdom. The crown is angry. This king was never chosen. The ancestors have turned their backs on us. But the worst was yet to begin.
One night, as Adagan sat alone in the throne room, the ground trembled, soft at first, then harder. The torches flickered violently. The air grew cold enough to frost his breath. From the far end of the hall, darkness rippled, as if someone walked through a river made of shadow. A shape emerged, a figure, barefoot, clothed in white burial garments, skin faintly glowing with otherworldly light. Prince Aderoju, the rightful heir. But he was not alive, and he was not dead. He stood tall, calm and sorrowful, a spirit who would cross the boundary because justice demanded it. Adagan fell to his knees. "Aderoju, brother, forgive me." Aderoju's voice was gentle, heavy with sadness. "You did not kill me, Adagan." Adagan looked up, confused and trembling. "The crown rejected me before I touched it, because something corrupted the kingdom long before we were born." He stepped closer, his feet hovering just above the ground. "But you deepened the wound. Your greed opened the path for the curse to return." The crown blazed with fiery gold. Adagan screamed as smoke rose from his skin. "The crown," Aderoju said softly, "was forged with ancient laws. One cannot lie and call it rulership. One cannot betray the kingdom and still wear its glory." Adagan's face twisted, now fully transformed by his choices. "You were not cursed, Adagan. You cursed yourself." The ancestors manifested behind Aderoju, shimmering silhouettes, tall and luminous, carrying staffs carved with sacred symbols. Their voices blended like thunder wrapped in wind. "The crown of Odanle shall rest only on truth." The crown lifted itself off Adagan's burning head. He reached for it, but his hands passed through it like smoke. "You cannot touch what does not belong to you," Aderoju said. The crown floated toward him. He bowed his head, but instead of landing on him, it dissolved into golden dust. The crown had fulfilled its purpose. It needed no king now. The ancestors turned to Adagan. "You sought a throne," they said, "so you shall sit upon it forever." Adagan's body stiffened. Stone crawled up his legs. His skin hardened. His breath froze. And in seconds, he became one with the throne. A statue. A warning. A ping who stole destiny and lost himself. The throne room grew silent. Aderoju turned to the ancestors. "Let the kingdom breathe again." They nodded, and just like that, he faded into light, returning to the realm where rightful spirits rest. The dawn that followed was the brightest Odanle had seen in years. The skies cleared, the crops began to sprout, children laughed again, and in the throne room, sunlight shone upon the stone figure of Adagan, a reminder carved in eternal stillness. He who steals destiny steals his own life. He who lies to the land will be judged by it. The ancestors forget nothing. And so the tale of the Cursed Crown of Odanle became the most whispered story in the kingdom, a warning for every generation that would follow. Only truth can rule a people. Only honor can wear a crown.